Hi, I'm Dr. Dubey. I'm a board-certified psychiatrist.
And I'm Margie Bowling, a yoga teacher.
We developed this MindSync because we wanted to help everybody learn coping skills. The coping skills that they can use in their life to deal with their stress.
Stress is inevitable. It's a part of our life. We learn over a lifetime coping skills to deal with the stress. The time has come that we should have a formal training and learn healthy coping skills to deal with the stress. The MindSync is that program, and it is for everyone. School children, teenagers, adults, elderly. It's an exercise of your mind. Like when we exercise to keep our bodies healthy, it's an exercise for your mind.
So let's learn the concept of the MindSync. We can divide our mind into conscious mind, subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind. Here we're gonna focus on the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. We are conscious being, but we are mostly living in our subconscious mind. We use only 10% of our conscious mind, and rest of the time we are using our subconscious mind, which means 90% of the time we are living in the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is like the boss, and the subconscious mind is like an employee. The conscious mind perceives the information through our senses like eyes, our nose, ears, tongue, etc. It gathers the information and uses cognitive thinking processes and then send that information to our subconscious mind for storage, mainly in the hippocampus and amygdala. The conscious mind, which is the boss, uses problem solving, critical thinking, logical thinking. The subconscious mind, which is an employee, just obeys the commands of the conscious mind. But like I said, we live mostly in our subconscious mind. What does that mean? That we are having an employee take charge of us. Now let's learn about the two structures of the brain that I mentioned before. Hippocampus. It classifies and organizes incoming information and converts short-term memories to the long-term memories.
On the other hand, the amygdala stores memories, which are associated with emotional events. The more emotions, the more storage in the amygdala. The activities of the amygdala increase with the storage of the memories. It gets aroused, and when that happens, it gives a stress signal to your body and releases stress hormones like cortisol.
Imagine you are living in a situation or a relationship where you are abused, insulted, have conflicts, or you are having emotions all the time. In that case, you are constantly storing emotional information to your amygdala, which is releasing stress hormone. And gradually, you become predisposed to the physical problems like hypertension, diabetes, heart disease because of the high cortisol release. So like we understood, whatever we learn through our conscious mind, we store it into the subconscious mind, like our beliefs, creativity, habits, long-term memory, protective reactions, driving, writing, etc. So from the day one of our life, when we are a child, we grow up as a teenager, adult, middle-aged, elderly, we are constantly learning new information through our conscious mind and storing it into the subconscious mind and keeping it in the autopilot mode.
When we are learning to drive, we are paying attention to things like the steering wheel, the gas pedal, the brake pedal. We are using our conscious mind and storing new information into our subconscious mind. After we have learned to drive, we let our subconscious mind do the driving, and we are able to use our conscious mind for other things like talking on the phone. In our lives, we are doing the same thing. We are letting our subconscious mind do the driving. Look how simple it was to understand our mind. Now here comes the complex part. What if, and yes, what if you have traumatic experiences?
Traumatic experiences are part of everybody's life. Starting from the childhood, you could have traumatic experiences like neglect, bullying, insult, accidents, sexual assault. So what happens when we have these traumatic experiences? All these traumatic experiences causes high emotional state. And when we have high emotional state, our cognitive thinking does not work properly. And the conscious mind is not able to use the cognitive thinking. And the information gets stored into the subconscious mind without getting proper processing. And it stores in the amygdala instead of the hippocampus. So if you are living mostly in the subconscious mind, then that mind could make you act according to your experiences. So like if somebody betrayed you, you may have problem trusting other people. If you had an accident while driving on a highway, you may be anxious driving on the highway in future. If you were bullied in the school, you may have social anxiety.
Here is where the MindSync comes in. Could you change the automatic responses from the subconscious mind? Could you repair it? Can you decrease the activities of your amygdala? Could you desensitize it? Yes, you can. Imagine if you never have swam in your life. You could join a swimming class, and if you practice every day for a month, you might learn to swim. That means your conscious mind is grasping new information and sending it to your subconscious mind and updating your software. This is what the MindSync does. How are we going to do this?
Yes, we can do it. Like I said before, who is the boss? Remember? The conscious mind. So the conscious mind is the boss. The problem is that we are living mostly in our subconscious mind.
Let's learn the MindSync techniques. Step 1. Live in and use your conscious mind more often. Living in conscious mode rather than wandering mode. Step 2. Empowering it with better critical thinking, problem solving, and logical thinking. Step 3. Using positive affirmations to send commands to your subconscious mind to change the previously learned behavior. Let's talk further about step 1. Live in and use your conscious mind more often, living in conscious mode rather than wandering mode. Through mindfulness meditation, you will live in the present moment. Decrease the number of thoughts and take your mind to an almost thoughtless state. Your brain will require less energy. You will have a sense of control over your mind. You will experience a more refreshed brain and an increase in your concentration.
Now let's move on to step 2. Now, when you have learned to live in the conscious mode more often than the subconscious mode, let's empower the conscious mind with some great skills. The MindSync uses cognitive behavioral techniques. The subconscious mind is full of memories and learned behaviors, which automatically triggers thoughts and feelings based on our previous experiences. The MindSync uses cognitive techniques to help us notice the negative automatic responses and helps transform them into a reasonable positive thought. What if you have learned the MindSync? If a negative memory thought from your subconscious mind comes to your conscious mind, a trained mind with MindSync will catch this negative thought and use problem solving, logical thinking, critical thinking, cognitive behavioral therapy, and convert it into a positive, reasonable, accepting, forgiving thought. And now that thought will create a new positive neurocircuit in your brain.
And moving on to step 3, using positive affirmations to send commands to our subconscious mind to change the previously learned behavior. The MindSync program will help you do that through positive self-talk, practicing gratitude, and daily journaling.
So are you guys ready to sync your mind with MindSync techniques?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.